platform where they're in control. Creators can bring their creativity on chain and make sure that they're the ones benefiting. Everyone everywhere gets the same access, no matter where you're born, no matter where you live. This is the future of the internet. This is on chain.
Greetings. Back again for another Building on Base sessions. And hopefully we're going to showcase what some of my colleagues over here have been building. Hoping they submitted it because the deadline was the deadline today?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, it was yesterday, but it was today our time, like 5 a.m. or something, right?
Yeah.
Midnight in New York or something. Okay.
No, I agree.
But anyway, how you guys doing? With Shabs and Mr. Lloyd, how you guys doing today?
Good. A little tired, but good. Yeah, I can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Nice.
Yeah, same here. I'm all good.
Mm-hmm.
A bit tired, but all good. Yeah.
Yeah. Comfortable. Do you guys submit anything?
I actually didn't.
What? Bro, I shouldn't even be saying this on the live stream.
No. I'm gonna be honest, bro.
No, your platform lie.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I ran out of credit twice and I got irritated.
Yeah, I understand.
I was working on something else, and then when I switched over, I kept on working and I ran out of credit. So I'm like, okay, let me top up. And I ran out of credit, bro. And then on the third one, it was like, hey, you've got this much left. I was just like, you know what? Actually, pause.
You do know you can submit the application and then carry on working on your project, yeah? Because the application is just wording, right? It's just you submitting the wording, a link of your deployed app, a basic demo video, if you have one, and that's it. That's
I didn't
the whole
even
game
think
plan,
of
right?
that, man. Because I know we discussed it for a week and a half. We discussed it, like how to go about it, what to prioritize. I wasn't even there. I was just like, I was just a little irritated. That's why when I came on here and you're like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm tired. So I switched to like working on something completely different, that I needed to do, just simply because I got irritated that I couldn't finish the project the way that I wanted to. So I was like, okay.
Now it happens. But you know what? The whole thing about participating in base batches, submitting an application is not the end all or be all. It's about getting users. I'm gonna just go and show you guys. I'll share my screen. Actually, let's play the disclaimer, and then let's head straight into the conversation, right? Just give me a sec.
Today's conversation is for information and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, technical, or legal advice. The views expressed are our own and do not represent Base, Coinbase, or any affiliated platforms.
Right, we're back. Anyway, before we get into the conversation, let's hear from Mr. Lloyd. Lloyd, how you doing, my guy? And what's happening on your end?
I'm doing good, guys. Can't complain. Just had a busy couple of days, but yeah, can't complain. Working on projects as usual, helping people out with their projects, helping people debug, and yeah, can't wait to see what people have been applying for.
Okay. Then on your end, you are in the robotics track, so there's still a bit of time, yeah?
Yeah, there's like 10 days remaining, so I'm hoping I can submit my projects in the next coming days, latest 5 days from now. So also working hard on that to just make sure that I'm ready for my submission.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So this is just, I think we're going to give some pointers to everybody because obviously, Shabs, you faced a situation that where you could have just, applied, but I guess, um, when you're under pressure, that's kind of information also slips from your mind,
Mm.
Yeah, I
No,
know that
I,
feeling of
I, I
chasing the deadlines.
completely, I completely overlooked that.
Mm,
Especially knowing that, we had this discussion, um, like earlier in the week, you know, so
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I still feel like I want to finish that project
Shabs,
because,
I
yeah,
might have a solution for your credits thing. I just have to wait a couple of more days to have feedback. So when I get my
okay,
feedback, and I might have a solution for your your prompts problem. So I'm hoping the talks I'm
yeah,
having can help um get you and me and other people from our community credits for a particular platform. Won't really mention what it is, but yeah,
okay,
hoping,
nice,
yeah.
nice,
So
nice,
I'll
nice.
definitely give you feedback on that.
Yeah, no, that would be
That's
awesome. That would be awesome
Right.
because, yeah, man. I
Yeah,
was just like,
also,
credits.
yeah.
I keep
I
on
want to say
paying.
to any of our communities or anybody who's logged in and you want to showcase your project, we can like literally send you a link right now to join this live stream, and you can share your screen. Make sure you enable your mic and your video if you want to, and you can share your screen and tell us about your project, right? So the way to do it is you need to be joining the live stream from the Based Southern Africa account on Twitter, on X. So that's at Based Southern AF, right?
Yeah.
BASED, Southern SOUTHERN AF, Based Southern Southern AF, sorry. And you can post a comment within that live stream. So in the live stream within the Based Southern Africa's X account, you can post in the comments, maybe post like your email address or something, right? And then I'll send you an invite to this live stream right now, and you can share your screen and show us what you've been building. Okay. Right. Okay. So base batches 003 startup track is closed, right? And I see now they allow us to view projects after the fact. Okay, no, they don't. Okay, so no, they don't. I'm logged in, so okay, so they took that option away to look at other projects. Okay, no worries. Okay, so let's have a look. Let me see if I can share my let me see if I'll be able to view my application. But it does say see projects and okay, so no, they don't have that functionality to view other projects anymore. Um, let's see. Okay, so they got builders, but this could be for everything, right? Okay, okay. Still nothing. Let me see. Let me go back and wait. Are you guys still here?
No, we're still here.
Yeah,
We
Mm,
were
go
to
ahead.
I see something. I thought maybe we could be able to see participants. Okay, let's see. Okay, no, we can't. All right, okay, so we can't see any of that. But let me try and see if I'm able to view my project. My projects, let's see. No, I can't see this current one. Okay, these are the past ones I've submitted, but I can't see the current one. Okay. All right, so maybe they've just changed the format of the website. Okay, what does it say? Okay, there's a student track. What else is there?
But the student track
Okay.
should be for next month, right? The deadline should be
Yeah,
next
there's
month.
still a bit of time. Yeah, there's up until the 27th of April. And then the robotics track,
Robotics.
which is coming up now. So Lloyd, your deadline is coming up just now. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's
Robotics track.
coming up, I think, in 10 days, if I'm not mistaken, or 9.
Okay, yeah. So anybody who's perhaps if you missed startup track, you can still give it a shot like Shabs. You could give it a shot in the robotics track, I guess. The whole
Yeah.
idea, guys, is to actually
Yeah.
apply, right? The whole idea is to submit an application which you can edit. So when you submit the application, right, you just basically need to fill in, obviously get verified and all that, verify your email, or set up a profile on Devfolio. And then, yeah, you fill in questionnaires. Oh, this one is slightly different. Let's say, what does it say? Okay, so it's basically the same. Okay, so you enter a URL, your video, um, maybe a pitch video. Yeah, then you fill in all the rest of the details. And then you click submit. You can always come back and edit this at a later stage. I think after you've clicked submit, you can always come back and revoke. So when you revoke it, it will bring you back to, your application, whatever you would have filled in, right? And then you can update it, save, and submit again. Okay, so you can do this whole thing of, just so that you are in the race, fill in this and press submit, and then come back at a later stage if there's anything you haven't filled in. You'll come back and then here you'll say revoke application, and then you will fill in the rest of the details. So that's
Okay.
the secret to staying in the game. Yeah. So so that's the robotics. What did I want to show you guys? I think that was part of what I wanted to mention because Shabs, you missed your deadline, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
then I
gonna
also wanted to share.
sneak into the robotics one.
Yeah. Go for it, man. Why not?
I'm gonna try my hand at robotics.
No, do it. Because
It should be interesting, you know.
even the beauty of it is you don't necessarily even need to like build like very high level architecture stuff if you just have a really good idea, like the way you were talking about even stuff like persistent memory the last time. Like those are really great ideas that we still haven't fully managed to do in like
Correct.
robotics, so yeah, definitely
Yeah.
apply.
Yeah. And then another thing,
I'll
something
give it a
that's new.
Sorry?
Sorry. Were you saying something, Shabs? Go ahead.
No, I said I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Cool. I was gonna say something new on base.dev. On base.dev now you don't have to add your mini app. You can add any app that you want to track that's built on base, right? So anything you build on base now, as long as you've added something like the base chain or whatever, even if you haven't added anything on base, but if you want to track it, you can actually come and add and register a new app. It doesn't need a manifest, so you no longer need like all that, the manifest, like the base app and all that kind of stuff, the technical stuff that you require to be able to track your stuff on base.dev. You can just come now, add your app's URL, and you'll be able to like track it. So if it's got any analytics, especially if it's on base, you'll be able to then track any of the analytics, right? Because the apps that are not like on chain or that's not on base, you can track it as an off-chain app. And then if you integrate like base pay and all that kind of stuff, then you it's gonna come up as the on-chain. Okay, but then you
Okay.
need to also add like something called builder codes, which you find in your settings over here. I think we spoke about builder codes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we spoke about it last week.
Yeah, so builder codes, you copy your code and yeah, and you go and paste it. I mean, there's a whole lot of documentation on builder codes, right? So you'll see it on docs .base.org, and then you just search builder codes, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so builder codes for your app basically allows you to track all the transactions if your app's on base. So how you do it is you just come and copy this page and you go and paste it in your VS Code. And then it's also going to ask you to add your actual builder code from base.dev. So there's a code that you get when you click on builder codes, right? And then you'll copy that and go and add it to your app. Then you're able to track, the transactions that are happening in your app. Okay, and then this is just users in your app. So any app that you're building on base doesn't have to be a mini app anymore. So you can track who's used it, who's signed up, the unique wallet addresses or same wallet addresses, as you can see on my app, right? Yeah. Okay, do we have anybody yet that's trying to comment? And nobody's commented yet, so no one has got anything to share. Okay. All right, so I'll share something on my end. Let me share what I built. Lloyd, maybe you wanna do you have anything to add, Lloyd, in what we've been discussing so far?
Yeah, just
Lloyd?
can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, for those that missed the startup track, like we said, you still have the robotics track and the student track. So I know our community has a lot of students, and yesterday we were talking to some of the students from NIPA, which is one of the colleges, about just having a meetup to get them started with the applications for the student track. So I'm thinking from our region, we're going to definitely have a lot more students applying. So yeah, that's the same I wanted to add.
There's only 14 that have applied so far for the student track. So on the student track, you can actually see the projects. So it's different from the startup track.
I think
what's interesting,
from the startup track, the reason why is maybe they didn't want people to have access to other people's projects, because maybe sometimes people tend to
a lot of
go to people's projects, and because there's a lot of open source stuff, people can just go to your project, find your GitHub, copy all the code, and then just say change a few things and apply. So I'm guessing that was a way of trying to maybe curbing that. I'm not really sure. It's just guesswork on my part. So yeah, I think that's maybe one of the reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Mhm.
But I see we've got 14 applicants for students. So guys, you see there's still a lot of room, right? So get it in, submit something, and you could be, one of the lucky few that get a fully expenses paid trip to San Francisco to pitch your startup. What did I want to share? I wanted to share
Also,
my project.
I don't know if it was just me, but when I was helping somebody apply, I noticed that the form for this startup track was completely different from the previous one.
Oh yeah, they've changed it
Yeah,
this year. This year is like literally just the one form. They've simplified it. You just submit in that main application. You submit everything on this
yeah,
form. Like,
yeah.
I'm
This
wondering,
one
it
like
might be
this.
the same for everything else. So the form you fill in here is the only one. Previously, you'd fill in this form, then you'd go
And
in
then
and you
you'd have
fill in
another
another
form. Yeah.
more. Yeah, so they've removed all of that. So I think what they'll do this time around, because if you saw in the overview, they did mention that you will need like a white paper, like a short white paper, like a one-page white paper, along with your application. So I think after you fill in this form and then they shortlist you, there'll be an interview, right? So I think they've just changed the
Yes.
process. So they will shortlist people, they will interview you, there'll be a mentor assigned or somebody to interview you. I guess that's part of the due diligence, right? And then they'll ask you to submit a white paper, a 500 word or a one-page white paper about your project. So I think this time around, they'll only collect information from the shortlisted projects, you see,
I think so.
as opposed to looking at 1,500 projects, which can be near impossible, right?
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, so
like
I guess guys,
I mentioned also earlier, I think it also helps curb copying. Like for example, if
yeah,
I spent like a lot of time working on a particular project and then I put it out there, if somebody just copy pastes it and then they go through like a short like a quick interview, it's very easy to notice if somebody really knows what they're talking about, if they really
yeah,
built the project. Like, even if no matter how advanced I am, even if I got like Shabs' project and say it's my project and they start asking me, there'll still be things that Shabs knows about that project that, for me, I won't really know because like Shabs is the one
Yeah.
who had like the vision, like, and that's very easy to pick out from people. You can tell like, nah, this is something that is definitely created by this individual or team, or this is just something that was just, gotten or given. So yeah.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think if you own a project, you'll understand the workflow, you'll understand the market,
Mm-hmm.
all the little intricacies that are a little bit more nuanced as opposed to I I actually built the UI and I vibe coded it.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get away with talking about it in a knowledgeable way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I agree with you. You know.
yeah. But nowadays you can one shot any project. So, it's easy to go into anyone's application and grab their text, whatever their
Yeah.
pitch is, and you go in one shot and then you add one or two elements and you've got yourself
But,
something. But I
but
think,
then,
beyond just applying, guys. So what base is now tracking now is analytics. It's one thing to submit your application, but if your app like mine, right? Let's say maybe they'll start sifting through the stuff, and then in about 2 weeks to a month's time, right? They'll start
Mhm.
maybe getting back to the shortlisted people. So if in that space of time from the time I applied, I still only have one user, which is myself, I think the chances are nobody's going to be interested in looking at that because they're going to be like, okay, you submitted an application on the 10th of March. Now it's the 10th of April. and you still have the one single user, which is yourself. So it means, you are not making the effort to get any, because in your application, you have to state what the stage of a project is, right? So if you're
Yeah.
a startup, you obviously need to be at least at MVP stage, right? You gotta have something, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So now you're a startup, you have an MVP, but there's only just the one user, which is a dev, a month from the time you submitted your application. Then your case does not look strong. So now, guys, we're living in a time with AI where you can one shot anything. When you are building, everything now is around distribution, because building is easy. It's one prompt. We've seen on Nana, you can build a mini app with just one prompt, a proper full stack mini app. You build it on Nana and it's going to function. Well, not full stack, but yeah, but it's a full Web3 app, right? It's going to function properly. So just building is just not enough anymore. Everything now is about distribution. Are the users interested? Is it got potential for virality? And that's why you gotta register everything you're building on base.dev, because the analytics will tell the truth. So if in a month's time I still have one app, I'm wasting my time, honestly. And if you are sitting in the same
Mhm.
situation, you're also wasting your time. So that's the brutal honesty of where we are right now. No one at base is gonna waste their time with an app with just one user and the analytics a month from the time you submit it. So it's becoming brutal, it's becoming very competitive, right? Because now AI can do everything for us. So our work as founders or startups is now to push distribution, to get users and to get to market very quickly. So that's the new
But
uh you
Google,
know,
you
yeah.
you mentioned something very important, and I think we keep talking around it, right? So if um, AI can build me a one shot an application, right?
Yeah.
And we want to push into distribution, right?
Mhm.
How valid is my idea? How strong is that idea, right? Because it's distribution, you're thinking very far, right? Like,
Mhm.
I think we need people to spend a lot more time validating their ideas before they can get to the distribution stage. Because if you think about it, like, guys, you've got AI that one shot something for you. Like, let's think of Base and using Nana in this case. Then, you know, you can then try and use whatever means digital marketing that you know how to, or you can really just learn quickly to be able to find your distribution and push that forward. But if you're not sitting on a valid business idea, like, you can do this 1,000 times, like,
Mhm.
you actually have to pay attention to what you want to build. That's what it
Yeah.
comes down. It comes
Yeah,
down to
but
for
I
me.
think it also comes down to how the market responds to it, how the user base responds to it, right? Because you could build something that seems like it's solid, and then users, there's no uptake, right? Users are not
But is
interested.
that not
And
part
then
of
you've
you
got,
validating? So
yeah, yeah. So the market
in your
validates
market
your,
research, what made you think that people wanted that? What pain points are you solving? And I hate to sound like, one of those VCs is like, oh, what pain point are you solving for? But they're right. You know,
but
it,
one thing I would like to mention, Shabs, on that is that
mm,
now in the AI generation, all that is no longer necessary. Everything now is about virality, because you can one shot, you can get the AI to do the research for you. You can ask ChatGPT to do a proper market analysis for you, and it's going to give you the proper, so you can have an idea and say, I want to make this app. Give me a summary of what I could add, and then it's going to tell you, and then you could ask it, do a market analysis, real-time market analysis, right? On the internet of who I should target with this app. And then it's going to give you all of that, right? and then you can then say, let's customize this app to this target market. You could actually tell it, oh, I'm based in the Southern African region. Who should I be targeting? Da 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 da. And then it's going to give you all of that based on all the available analytics, right? Keeping in mind that, remember, the AI has been trained on everything that's on GitHub, GitLab, anything that's on the internet. So it's got access to every app. It's got access to all these analytics, right? So it's got access to all that information. So that research, nowadays, you don't have to necessarily do it yourself, like spend a lot of time. You can just prompt it and it gives you the research, right? So now, when you build your app, you can have all that information, and then you ask the AI to help you then customize to a certain market segment, and then it will do that. But now the job of you now as the builder or the entrepreneur is to go and find users now. So it's about marketing, it's about pushing it on social media, pushing it on the the WhatsApp groups and all the channels, and getting your first 100 users, right? Those will give you that market validation. And then when you add your sorry, let me just finish and I'll get back to you. So when you add your come and add your app on base.dev, right? And then Base helps you with part of that distribution. Because remember, Base, so if it's a Base app or it's just on Base chain, your app will start to come up somewhere in the leaderboards, right? And that's where Base can then help you amplify. So they
Google,
can either post about you.
Just a quick one. What is the Base chain? The app chain, the Base app chain?
Well, the chain is just the Base network, right? So these are apps that are not like apps like that are just using the Base network, the Base chain, the blockchain itself, right? So they are using the like PancakeSwap. So PancakeSwap, is like a Binance native app, but then they are now multi-chain. So they're now existing on other chain, like Moonwell, for example, right? So these are just apps that they were built on other chains before, and now they're multi-chain. So they are also using the Base network to be able to distribute their service to people on Base or users on Base, right? So this is where the distribution comes in, and they're using the leaderboard as a way to be able to help you with that distribution. So they'll go and look at the analytics of all the apps, and then you will appear here if you incorporate like your builder codes, or you are just using your apps is just using Base, and then in the Base app as well, if your apps is on the Base app, then it's going to come up on these leaderboards, and you can apply. So you can apply to be featured inside Base app, okay, where you can then be featured in any of the segments inside Base app. So when people open the actual Base app itself, they can be able to see, so you can be at the top as a featured app. So that's where Base helps you with the distribution, because Base has already got a monetizable user base, right? So you can either have distribution on Base chain, you can have distribution on the Base app, okay? But then your app needs to appear on the leaderboard for Base to be able to help you. And then there's obviously a form that you need to fill in to be able to apply to be featured in the Base app. Or if you want them to post you on their build on Base, they can interview you, they can post you on base.org. And then if your app is doing pretty well, you can end up in the Coinbase. If you have a coin or something with your app, you can end up in the Coinbase, the main Coinbase exchange. And then your app is, or your coin or whatever is exposed to a bigger audience of up to 40 million people globally. So that's where the distribution comes in, right? That's what Base amplifies. So it all starts with base.dev, okay? So yeah, so nowadays, guys, the game is changed, and it's ruthless now, because you're competing against kids that spend their day one-shotting, 20 apps a day. They just spend that day going to look at other people's ideas and then adding one element to it, and then they one-shot your app. So we don't have the luxury to sit around with an idea for 2 months or whatever and mull on it and hope
I think
that you're gonna find a sweet spot.
I actually think that's the harder part to solve now. If I've
Yeah,
got
that is.
AI who can one shot, and I've got Base who allows me to piggyback on their infrastructure for distribution, like we just
Mm,
discussed here, what we can get from Base here. So it means those two things have been solved for me. So I could
exactly.
go and spend my credit and trying to replicate other people, even if I do replicate somebody
Yeah.
else's
Mm,
application, then I still need to sort of um, outdo them, or I need to create something that is better than that current application from a user
yeah.
perspective, not even from a
Mm,
UX perspective, from a user perspective. So
yeah.
I, the more I sit and I think about coming up with ideas and stuff like that, the more I struggle, the more I realize that's where I need to spend more time for me to be able to actually create something worth of value that everybody, that some people might want, because a lot of people are building now. It's a flooded
Mm,
market. So I need a really good differentiator for me to
mm,
stand out. And I'm not going to find it by just, you know, randomly playing with ideas. I actually think we need people to spend time on the ideation and validation and research, because if you just take the AI research that's on the net that you get from, you know, ChatGPT and so on, and you don't push back, you don't get rid of sycophancy or the biases or the hallucination within those research, I promise you, you are not going to get something of value. You're going to get something that's, you know, great to get you started, but you're not going to get what you want from a virality perspective when it comes to the back end and what you're trying to achieve. So,
Um,
you know, yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of how I see it.
Also, Shabs, speaking of just like some of the things you've mentioned, I feel like another way to do this, like though you've mentioned ideation and just basically doing more research, is so me and my friends were talking just a couple of days ago about how quite all right people build, but most people are building in industries that are already crowded. You know, like we all want to make the latest social media, or we all want to make like the next DeFi, you know. But if you actually do like more research, you figure out that there's actually a lot of industries out there that technology still hasn't even touched, that are like
Mm.
really big industries with like huge market you know, like market prices and caps. So we're just talking about looking at other ideas beyond just using tech in tech, you know, like for example, um, the waste management sector is a huge sector. It's one of the biggest in the world, but there's
Yeah.
very few people building, you know, tech wise in that industry. So that's like an
Mm.
entire market out there that still requires you to take agents, still requires you to, you know, make things faster and better. So looking at industries like that, that you don't necessarily, you know, always build for, and like always building in the same social stuff, because everybody's building in the same industries. It's crowded, you know,
Yeah.
and you have very few people building in those other industries. So looking at those industries is also like a good way. And then another thing is, I think last week one of our community members built an app. It's a very basic app. It just calculates your tax. In Zambia, it's ZRA tax for like your car. And within a few hours, his post went viral. He had like so many people. Like I don't know how many. I think how many. Let me just see. Like a lot. We're talking about like an abnormal amount of people. And this was just of a very small, you know, app that people were saying, "Oh, I've always wanted something like this," and it's like our current system has a problem with just that particular part. And here's a guy from our community who just built something, and it went viral, and everybody was just like, "I've been looking for this. Like, this is so useful." And that made me think to say, again, we're building in overcrowded industries, so it's a good idea to look at other industries as well and take the skills and the
That's
tech that we have
definitely.
here to those
I
industries.
just want to
So
add to that is when you're building for other industries, if it's for base batches, keep in context of what base is and where they are. At the end of the day, base is a blockchain, and the main way to make money on blockchain and Web3 is via financialization, trading, tokenization, right? So something could go viral somewhere else, but then if on base it's not, because then you need to be able to track it on chain, right? So if there's no on chain transactions, then yeah, it's might not be a great fit for the purposes of what they're trying to do with base batches. You might go another route to get funding, but then it becomes
yeah,
a bit of
that's
an
true.
yeah,
If
yeah.
we're
So
looking
I'm
at it
just
from like a
saying,
base batch
yeah, base batches.
perspective, but I'm talking more on on a larger scale. Like, you can use base tools and documentation beyond base batches. Like, you can actually
Yeah,
build
definitely.
products that use
Mm.
base pay and all these that can still be used in like the Web2 industries and still get the best of both worlds. You get base transactions because people pay you with like base pay, or you can store on-chain transactions, whether it's proof of payments, and still let ordinary Web2 people use your app, like how Base has got the partnerships with like Stripe. Stripe is a Web2 platform. It's not a Web3 platform, but the
Yeah,
partnership that it has with Base for Base Pay enables people on Web2 to still be able to transact, and Base still gets that transactions which you can still track inside your Base build app. So
yeah,
yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
yeah, yeah. So when you use the base chain, yeah, on the leaderboard, you would come up. But
Yeah,
ultimately, it still does come to transactions. It's still about
yeah,
because the transactions have a cost to them, right?
yeah,
So even if you build an app using base, but I suppose you could do it on the test net, maybe, right? So you could do this thing where you build your app on the test net, and then you are able to do some stuff that's off chain, but then you have a way of tracking it on the test net, and then you can submit that, right? And I think when base sees that this guy is getting 1,000 testnet transactions a day from users and is validated these users,
yeah,
then they can look at that angle to obviously to support you in a way to work for you, right? Because some things might not work on mainnet because mainnet has a transaction fee, right?
yeah,
So if so one has to be cautious that if you're not collecting payments from your users, but you want to track them on mainnet, there's a transaction fee. Even if you send, yeah, I'm not so quite sure you can actually do zero. Like back in the days we used to use a zero cost transactions, right? But then there's the issue that you gotta pay gas. But I'm not sure if you can do it on some of these because then they're tracking the value. I think the
yeah.
transaction would fail if you try and send a zero cost one. But I stand to be corrected. I think there's some smart contract way around it where you can track
Oh,
it. But it's important to take note of transaction costs and transaction fees, right? So whatever
yeah,
you're building, um, yeah, you might have to stay on testnet and submit your project while it's on testnet and use your testnet analytics to be able to prove the validation of that project. Yeah, but
yeah,
ultimately, yeah, I think it's always important to always keep in mind when you're applying
to
for base
align.
batches that you are
yeah,
in a Web3 environment, and the question is always going to come up: how is your app going to make money? And they're
Yeah.
going to be looking at your app making money on chain. If it makes money off chain, I'm sure there's also a way around that. You could just maybe be using the wallet for authentication. So you're using base account. So that still works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are ways around it, I guess.
Yeah, but ideally, like you mentioned, transaction value would be more, I would say, would be like the best method, being able to have
Yeah.
people make transactions on the base blockchain in one way or another.
Yeah.
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 Because you could use the wallets, right? Just so you give so if you say you don't want users to be, just to be using, you want anonymity, you don't want users to be using Google account, you could just use the base account for authentication, right? And then
Yeah.
I think you could collect, obviously in your database, how many wallets were created while using your app. So that could be justification. So yeah, so that kind of stuff can come into your pitch actually. Now that we're speaking about that, Lloyd, and we're stretching our brains a little bit on how to solve this, I think if you use your like what we're talking about now, if somebody applies and their app, I'm trying to go back to projects, right? So if somebody applies and their the app doesn't have any transaction or it's not doing anything on chain and you just want to use maybe the base account to authenticate, then
Yeah.
excuse me, you can add all of that in your pitch. Okay. So, there's a lot of information that goes into the pitch. So for students, if you haven't applied, go and look at other projects over here and look at the projects that have submitted, right? Like also look at, so what you need to do is when you apply, also get some of your friends to come and like your projects,
Yeah.
right? Like this one you see it's got 20 likes, some have comments. So all of these analytics, they kind of get, it's almost like validation, right? So get as many friends of yours, try and get 1,000 likes if you can, because then that comes up in the leaderboard. So when they're sorting these, they'll see your projects first. That, oh, this one has 1,000 likes, so it looks interesting, right? So yeah, so
Yeah.
after you submit your application, ask all your friends to come and comment, ask all your friends to like, and I think you can tip. If some of your friends have got a bit of crypto, they can tip your project, okay? But yeah, so in your application, referring back to what Lloyd was saying, that somebody's building a text app and then they want to use base somewhere, somehow. And if they want to avoid having transaction costs, then they can use the base account, which is the base wallet, to authenticate users. So users can sign up with a base account and then they can sort of securely then authenticate users without requiring all the security layer for keeping passwords or using Google Pay. I mean, using Google Auth, for example.
Authenticate, yeah.
So yeah, they could just use the sign in with wallet and then they fill in the people's taxes. And if the person is paying to a bank account, that doesn't matter. The validation would be how many wallets have actually signed up, to
because
use that
what's
app.
a funny story is these days, just on like speaking on the authentication side, I always use the base authentication in like all my apps because it's way faster to integrate than the Google authentication. Like you suffer
Exactly. Yeah.
if you're not
That's actually something
you're
I've
not a
realized.
developer. You will suffer.
Because, yeah, Google Auth, you need to go and sign up on Google Console. Then you need to set it
Yeah.
up. Then you need to get this. Then you need to provide this. Like it's a process, yeah. And it's a process that
It's a
I've done like
process.
twice, and I found it to be quite like painful, right?
Yeah.
The other easier process for anybody that's trying to use now that we're on the subject, Lloyd, is the Coinbase developer platform, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but then this one is centralized. But for somebody who's doing like the guy doing the text app, I think his best bet would be to use the Coinbase developer platform's what do they call it, Lloyd? It comes with the Google Auth, and then it comes with the wallet. What do they call that?
It's on the at the
It's
bottom.
in the
Yeah,
embedded wallet.
embedded wallets.
Embedded wallets. There we go. So
And I
yeah, so
also
somebody
noticed
like,
they added build your. You can click the build your demo on top.
oh
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
On
yes.
the
So you
right.
can build your demo.
Yes, so it's
Yeah.
got to show us a mini sample. So I noticed they added
Yeah.
Telegram 2 days ago. I was happy when I
Oh,
saw
there
that.
we
I was
go.
like, okay,
Uh,
more
yeah,
authentication, more ways to
yeah.
sign
So
in.
so if you yeah, so to add to what you were saying, Lloyd, right? Somebody's building a text app. Obviously, that stuff, the payments are going to work off chain, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
cash fiat payments. They could use the Coinbase embedded wallets, right? So they don't have to use the base account. They can use the Coinbase wallet, right? Which is
Yeah.
still, part of the base and
Base.
Coinbase community.
And at Google,
So yeah.
another thing that they can also do is if you're using off-chain let's say payments, but you've incorporated like other tools like the embedded wallets, you can still always track the off-chain payments because they're still done in your app. So
Yeah.
even if people are paying fiat, you can still make a smart contract that just tracks and logs this data on the blockchain anonymously. You don't need to say
Like
Peter
from your
sent
bank account.
this. Yeah, you can just say maybe like X from maybe this bank sent this amount without really explicitly giving out the actual details, maybe personal details, and that helps you just notice also just how people are using your transactions. And if they already have the embedded wallets, these come with like a smart wallet already, so you can come introduce something that I feel like it's a good way to get people into blockchain faster, if you ever wanted
I mean,
to.
now like with things like embedded wallets, it's like you don't really have to think about the blockchain because it's like you know what I'm saying? It's just a way of authenticating your users. Yes, this is going to give them a wallet, but they don't necessarily have to use that wallet. They can just, your app could be, you could actually put the wallet in the background, You're just tracking logins. Every time someone logs in, even with their Gmail, it could just, I don't know, do a counter somewhere to say this wallet, or this Gmail link to this wallet was logged in, and then you could just sort of like count how many users. So there's ways around it where you can use the different tools. But this one is a good one for anyone trying to, build, and they don't want too much blockchain. They just want to deal with the basics, sign up users easily with Google Auth, or without having to go via Google. You can use the Coinbase infrastructure, and you can add any of these things over here. As you add, you see a subtract, it reduces on this side. So you can like literally select how you want your users to sign in. And then when you're done with this, I think you say start building. Oh, no, you copy the code.
No,
sorry.
There's a code.
So whatever you select, you copy this code and you go and paste it in your VS Code.
IDE.
But you need to have signed up to, like you need to get your, what is it called?
Project ID. So you can click the DevRel Live or dashboard, any of the two. So
there's the project ID. And then there's what's the other thing that we have here? What else would they need? They would need the API key, no?
No, for the
project
I think
ID.
just project ID for the embedded wallets.
Okay. I think they need that API key for allowing Coinbase to track the analytics, right?
Okay. Yes.
So they need their where is that API key? The one that comes on the homepage, like where's
you have to click your dashboard.
Oh, there we go. API keys, So there's a project API key. If you click API keys there, you copy that, and then it's gonna track your I think then it's gonna enable the tracking of the analytics. But so this stuff is very pretty simple and straightforward. Okay. All right, it's 4 more minutes. Let me show you what I built for base batches, right?
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
this
so
what you submitted?
yeah, what I submitted, right?
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'm doing this DevRel stuff now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the Discord. So this is kind of like I've actually cloned, for the look for the this is an MVP, right?
This.
So
Yeah.
this would be the base Discord. This is how we're handling. This is how we're helping people, right? So people come
Yeah.
and open up tickets. So these are any of the open tickets, right? And then we as DevRels would come up and interact with people like here. So someone would have a problem with a mini app and would come in and would talk to the person and help them through, would give them ideas until their issue is sorted, right?
Yeah.
So um but then we're not allowed to call or DM or whatever for security purposes, right?
Yeah.
So I figured we're in an AI generation now, right? So the way we're doing things, I felt is a bit because I saw a lot of things keep coming up. People keep asking the same questions, right?
Yeah.
Having the same problems with mini apps, signing a manifest. So I kind of realized a lot of the stuff becomes a bit repetitive, and I figured we could automate a lot of the stuff, right? Or we
Mm-hmm.
could get AI to solve it. So I created
Yes.
a situation where um, when someone comes in and start, posted tickets, obviously we have the first line of contact is this automated base support. It will respond to this person, and if that request is not satisfactory, we will look at it and then we would normally respond to the person. But I figured we can cut that and allow the person to actually just call the AI. Okay. So in my app, it dials the AI, and this AI here, you can share your screen. Okay. And the AI will read what's on your screen, it will read your code, and it will tell you what your problem is. It will do a transcript, and then it will send that transcript also to my repair tool over here, right? So you can link your GitHub, and yeah, so you can connect your GitHub, add your app's URL, and add your GitHub, the link to your repo. And then that app, so it's Gemini on one end. You'll be talking to Gemini. Gemini is going to look at your app. It's going to look at your screen when you share your screen during the call, and it will diagnose what the problem is. You will talk to Gemini. It will take that transcript, and then it's going to feed it to Claude. So the code repair tool is Claude Sonnet 4.6. So Gemini then feeds to Claude, and then Claude looks at your app, and then you can actually then say connect GitHub, and you can ask it to run. So then it's going to run this in VS Code, okay? It will run a live fix, okay? And when it's done, it's going to push. So this is VS Code Web, right? Then it's going to push it's going to create a PR, a pull request, and push to your GitHub. So you could go to your GitHub and approve it, or you could opt for it to just automatically fix everything if you're a vibe coder, and then it pushes to main. Okay. So then after that, Gemini can also review what you've done. Okay. So the whole idea is that depending whatever problem you have, you could dial any of these. So any of these, I've been training them to deal with, anything. So if you have issues with base chain, you have issues with base nodes or base accounts, I've been training, the AI to be able to deal with all of that. So the whole idea is that now you can call the AI and share your screen over here, share your screen, and then it reads your code, and in real time it tells you what is the problem. And there's also a code review tool over here. So while it's checking out, so while Gemini is checking out, Claude Code is doing a code review, and it's repairing your code for you, and then it's pushing it or deploying it, right? And then if if you don't have time, you can always schedule a call for another time. So over here in your wherever you are having a problem, you could click schedule and choose a date and time, and then it's going to start a call at that time. Or you could quickly just go straight to repair, and then you connect your GitHub, and your app links, and then it's going to repair everything, right? And then so I also figured a lot of our users, right, are not on Discord. So that's something that I've realized. I'm on Discord, but I've never seen anybody from our region. Like nobody from our region has ever come up and if they are coming up, then maybe I'm missing them. But I haven't seen any people from our region come to the Discord and ask for assistance. So what's happening is that a lot of assistance is happening directly. People WhatsApp me, people WhatsApp other people, and they're doing this
Yeah.
directly. And that's because we exist on WhatsApps, right?
Google,
So
I'll
now
be
I've
the
built a
first one.
tool where
I'll come specifically with my
I'll also
with
I'll
my
also
air.
DM you.
yeah. But listen, you don't have to come to the Discord, because the way I've built this tool is that you can add, perhaps I've created like a situation where you can add this tool to your WhatsApp groups. You can add it to your Telegram group. So I've created a bot on Telegram. So you can connect and then you can add it to your Telegram group and create a channel within your Telegram group where whenever you post, it's gonna come up over here, right? Or you can just go to the web app and create a new post, right? And then it's also going to come up. So when Base allows me to integrate to their Discord, whatever you post here will come up on the Base Discord. Whatever you post in your WhatsApp group, in your Telegram group, will also come up on the Base Discord. So now I've created a situation where you can like integrate it even with Twitter, with any other platform. Even I'll try Reddit as well. So if people, the whole idea is to meet people where they are. If people are comfortable with WhatsApp, then they can post their problems on WhatsApp, and then they should come up on the Discord, right? So I'm trying to create a situation where you can capture all the problems that people are facing with building on Base from everywhere on one space, right? And then then another killer thing that I've created here, obviously I have the leaderboard, right? Where it's going to track, because you want to control costs. So someone calling an AI, there's a cost to it, right? It's not free. So I want to check what is the cost of, how much is each builder or each DevRel, how is each of our DevRels performing? How is, so if there's AI agents as well, how are they performing? And then our community. So this would be our builder. So anyone who's a builder, how have they, what are they building and how many problems have they had? And they'll be getting points and they'll be getting some rewards from participating on this platform, of course, right? And then for the admin, this is now for, the guys who are running Base. They obviously want to know what is the unit cost of building on Base, right? So this is my area of expertise, right? So what is the cost of Base? So if say they want to launch a Base token, they need to know the real world economics of building on Base. How much does it cost to actually build and run Base apps, Base chain, nodes, and all that? They probably have the figures, but then in real time, dealing with real builders who are having problems, what is the cost of repairing and getting Base and Coinbase people to help people solve those problems as well, right? So I've created an admin dashboard where you can track the call history by each user, by wallet, how long it took, and then you can put a cost to it, right? And this will be a real-time running cost. So every single call, every single problem that's logged in on Base, I've got a little algorithm where I'm working out, how to sort of like estimate that cost. It won't be accurate to the dollar, but it's, it gives you a macro overview of what is the cost of building and repairing. And the whole point with this is then you can now really track the true economy of building on Base. You can track the cost of solutions that are not functioning properly, right? So now, for example, Nena allows us to one-shot building an app, right? Which makes it makes it easier and quicker to build an app. Prior to that, it would take you about a week trying to figure out how to build a mini app. But with Nena, you one-shot it, you have it up and running in 10 minutes. So the cost of building a mini app has become so small, compared to what it was in terms of the time cost of everything, right? So all these are economics. And then when you start to add other, variables like, go-to-market strategies and all that, you can actually now start to work out what the real value of the economy is. And I think it then relates back to these apps. We are able to then quantify, what is the value of an app that's built on Base? If I want to sell it, or a user wants to sell it, or you want to get investment from Base, we'll be able to work it out and quantify it because we have all these facts and figures. So yeah, so this is kind of like something that is helping me deal with some problems that I have issues with quantifying some of the stuff I'm building. So this is just like a small step to be able to quantify some of those things, especially on the analytics. So yeah, so that's my project, and it's based on my experience in the last month. I've been working on Base, and I've been trying to help other people solve their problems. But I've also been looking at it. There's some things that I don't know yet, and so I find that when someone comes up with a problem like this one, right? And if I don't know it, I need to go back to the Base docs and do some research and find out what it is. Sometimes I have to test it myself. So that whole process to respond to this guy who wants a solution now could take me 30 minutes before I respond, right? So if other guys, other DevRels who have knowledge are not available, it might take me 30 minutes, but that's taking 30 minutes away from my own time, where I could be doing other things. So now I'm employing the AI, training it with everything, and the person can just simply call the AI and Gemini will solve their problem over a call. But then if the person is not happy, they can invite me to that call, right? So you can add a DevRel assistant to your call, or you can request a human, and then I will join the call, and then we'll have a three-way. Like now, you see, now we have a three-way. You see. So yeah, so you can add other people to that live call and fix your problem much quicker. So yeah, so this is what I've built for Base Batches. The monetization angle for me right now has been, I allow people on this app to have like one free call a day, right? So there's the one free call, okay, which should last 5 minutes, right? And then maybe the code repair, one code repair a day. And then after that, they can then pay $1 using Base Pay. If they want to, so if you have about 3 apps that you're trying to solve, then you're going to have to pay for the AI, to do the code review. Because I think the current cost of fixing your code, so if using Claude to do the Claude repair tool, currently it's expensive. It costs like $15 to $25 for one proper full code review when you use Claude repair, right? So, but I think with us, because we already have, there's already a lot of knowledge with all the problems that have been coming up, right? So these will be easier to fix because some of them are repetitive. So I think the cost to fixing this will roughly be about $1 just to do a quick code repair. Yeah, that should solve it. But then we'll see when we hit the real market. So yeah, so that's my build, guys. It's not something commercial. I know I wanted to put the initially that the monopolist thing with AI agents, but then I was really drawn to this more because this fixes a real problem that I myself have been experiencing. Like for the last 30 days, I've been, doing this, helping people on Discord. I've been facing these challenges where there's a knowledge gap between me trying to help somebody and having to spend 30 minutes trying to figure it out myself, then going back to help him, and then I might be wrong. Then, some guys it's taking like 2 days, 3 days to try and help them, whereas they go back and forth because they also maybe work other jobs. Then they come back, they build whenever they can. They have a problem, they deploy, and I realized, nah, man, that's not how things should be working in this era. Right now, AI should fix like 90% of our problems, like in real time. We shouldn't have to wait for 2 days back and forth to fix one small little, issue in code. So yeah, so that's my approach to, solving. And I think it relates to, Lloyd, what you're saying, trying to solve real world issues on Base. I might not have the monetization angle yet, but I think for me, I was gaining satisfaction because it's a tool I can use right now. So yeah, so some ideas are not so commercial, but they have real utility. So that's my story, guys. You can go and check it out, play around with it.
But like
live.vessel.app.
So like for me, I think that's an app that could
go ahead,
actually grow beyond it could actually grow beyond what you actually are thinking and imagining, because the circumstances that you're talking about and what you're trying to solve for happens in all the discords, not just your own discord, right? So you
Yes.
could literally, and granted that it will go beyond base and the base ecosystem into other ecosystems, right? But the base of it, or the foundation of it, remains true, that we have multiple discords that have the same issue, because this hasn't been solved, it hasn't been put in place, right? So for me, that's like, oh, that's an idea to work on, right?
Yeah.
It's not out there. You can Google it, you can do research about it, but it's so nuanced. It's like an edge case that
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
More
and
specialized.
literally all the other Discord members are the only ones that can actually speak truly to it. And that's why I think
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
You
And I
know,
feel like a
But
lot
you
of
know, one thing I
people.
noticed, yeah, I noticed
Yeah, no,
now
go on.
we've got so many vibe coders now, right? People that are not technical. So this service, I realize, as much as I'm building it for base, right? I realize there's an opportunity to extend this to people that are building on Lovable, people that are building on Replete, because they also face the same problems. When I was building on Lovable and Replete, I had the same issues. You know, I would build an app and then I don't know how to get, past a certain stage. Initially, I didn't even know how to connect my GitHub and be able to copy my app's code to GitHub. So now you have this app on Lovable, but then you don't have any more credits. How do you even move it to your GitHub? And even if you move it to GitHub, how do I even, build it on VS Code? I had issues with VS Code at the time. I didn't know how to use it. So, so there's those basic things that I've been thinking about when building this app, to say, how does it then cater for all the other vibe coders like me that had the same problems that I had this time last year when I started my vibe coding journey? So how do we capture that surface area of all those that are left behind that don't even want to learn Discord? Because I don't see why you have to learn Discord to get assistance, right? For me, coming from the world I'm coming
Yeah.
from as a vibe coder, I know how difficult it is for people to learn Discord, and to be able to use it properly. And then also Discord has got a couple of requirements before you can post. You need to go and get something called a guild, which is like a badge. So you need to now know how to learn to use a crypto wallet. You gotta have a bit of ETH in your wallet, like 0.006 ETH. So when I look at all that stuff, I realize that we're leaving so many people behind. And we need a way to be able to help all these people. Because I was in that boat. And fortunately, I came across guys like Lloyd, who was able to teach me everything. But not everyone has access to Lloyd, and Lloyd does not have, so many hours in the day to be able to help everybody. But Lloyd
True.
could get on some specific calls with paying customers when they're paying on Devil Live, right? They could buy Lloyd's time, and then so part of the vision I'm thinking that as we go into the future now, because now we're in a vibe coders market now, right?
Yeah.
Vibe coders they're gonna make the next $1 billion businesses, right?
They are.
So I think what's gonna happen is that now when you are launching a company, right, and you say, when they ask you who is your who writes your code in your company, right? You want to say, oh, Claude Sonnet 4.6, and then you can also put reviewed by Lloyd. You understand what I'm saying? So if Lloyd
Yeah.
comes on a platform like DevRel Live, he reviews your code, he helps with some fixes, he's working with you and the AI on a call, even if for 5 minutes, when you push that PR, it's going to have Lloyd stamped there, right? So
Yeah.
reputable, builders like Lloyd, and there's other developers internationally who are reputable. Imagine getting a Vitalik to come and also, just spend 2 minutes reviewing your code. And then when that PR is pushed, it's got Vitalik stamps there. It makes you very
Mm,
bankable. So that's part of what I'm
it
trying to
does.
do with this DevRel Live, is to allow, your technical team to also be people that will just give you 1 minute of their time, 2 minutes of their time to look at your code, and approve, and that pull request comes, it's got their stamp on it. And that makes you bankable. So I think it kind of
Yeah.
democratizes, great ideas as well and opportunities by allowing us to
Yeah.
launch companies, and I've got a stamp, for the code fixes coming from some reputable guys, your Lloyd, your Vitalics, etc. So that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this thing, or at least where I think it could go in a couple of years. But right now, it's obviously about fixing people's problems, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel like the best ideas always start out. Like you see something maybe that you've noticed is a gap, or something that
Mhm.
you are on your own say, I think I need something better. I
Yeah.
can't be standing up and going to switch on the TV or make this thing called a remote. Then your friend comes over and you're like, look what I
Mm.
have. Like I just press buttons, and before you know it, you've got like a whole gang of people who say, I also have the same problem. Because
Yeah.
like the way you mentioned, when it comes to like coding with AI, the main problem is the AI itself. So as long as you code with AI, then you're still going to run into the exact same problems that somebody from an entire different country is going to run into. So yeah, I personally think it's a great idea, and you just keep updating it, improving it. The more people test it out and use it, they give you feedback, and it evolves into something that a lot of people can use. Because Discord definitely has a lot of users. It's low key like
Definitely. Yeah.
Telegram. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But what
definitely a
would be
great idea.
definitely most interesting to me is if we can capture people that are in these WhatsApp groups, because like Base, for example, has got so many Telegram groups, right?
Mhm.
So to be reaching out to all these like communities and asking them to add the bot for this app, the Telegram bot is an admin on their groups. Then when people have issues, they like literally go to their Telegram, they post it. And then when I get the base integration, then it comes in the base Discord as well, right? So that's
Yeah,
something that I'm also looking forward to, being able to capture that surface area that's currently untouched, especially builders. I think in the African region, especially Southern Africa. I think very few have migrated to our Discord yet, right? We're not even getting much interaction in the from our builders in the Telegram. We're not getting much interaction with them even on the WhatsApp groups, right? But they DMs. I get DMs with people asking
yeah,
for assistance, right? And then when
Mm.
we had those hackathons and those events, like they're very engaged. You see what I'm saying? So I think there's still a lot of untapped potential. I mean, we haven't even started to look at people building on Replit, people building on Lovable. So yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity to reach all these individuals. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
so
lot of
I don't know
opportunity.
if you guys can see the note on my screen. Someone asked for the Nana platform. So I've pinned it. Can you guys see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
Nana.com
see.
/ studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the platform where you can go and one shot make your base mini app using one prompt. So I hope you've seen that. I think that question came from Ray. Ray Matonga was asking for Nana, right? And I see one delay. Oh, one delay, you were supposed to join us. I don't know what happened. You're supposed to join us to showcase your app or something. Or was that somebody else? Okay. So one delay was saying, yeah, we're missing them. I think she was talking about, or he or she was talking about how, they're not on the Discord, right? And they find it overwhelming. So I get it. Okay. And I think who else was supposed to join us? I think there was Herix or something. But anyway, we can get him
yeah.
on
Eric's was
Builders
supposed
Office.
to on
Yeah. We'll
the
get
next
them on
session.
Thursday.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so guys, I think catch us on Builders Office hours on Thursday at 1 p.m. So the robotics track is still going on, the student track is still going on. So if anybody wants any assistance,
Yeah,
we can catch you there. And then if you want to try, if you're not ready to speak to anybody, go and try this app that I've made, DevRelive, excuse me, Vercel.app. So DEVRELIVE.Vercel.app. So if you're not yet on Discord, or you're struggling with Discord, or you're struggling with Builders Code, you can just try it, schedule a call, and then I'll see if I can get on a call with you via that same app with the AI. And then part of it, I'll also onboard you onto our Discord, right? So I'll help you get onto Discord, help you sign your guilds, and yeah, we'll see if we can then have both things happening. Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think from my side, that's it for the day. Any last words, guys, for today? Lloyd and Shaps?
From me, like what I always say, guys, experiment, find a niche, find something that is a pain point for you and other people that we haven't yet discovered is actually a pain point, and that's one way to get people to look at your product or your project and actually pay for it. So yeah, experiment, try to create in other industries as well, get the base tools and build a website that caters to mechanics, like we want all those people on the blockchain. We just don't need developers, we need everybody using the blockchain. And I remember there's somebody who actually said in the future, the blockchain will just be in the background. You won't really, know that there's even any blockchain stuff, but the whole thing is running on, the blockchain, the transactions are running on the blockchain in the background. So yeah, experiment and see what you can get.
Yeah. Shabs, thanks, Lloyd, for
Yeah.
that. Shabs, last
Cool.
words?
Just to touch on what Lloyd said about the blockchain, right? We're living in a world that's moving so fast, at least from a developer and a vibe coder perspective. And we probably are part of the 1% that actually are playing around with ChatGPT and have gone beyond into all these different tools, right? We are still ahead of the curve, right? So you got to understand this little pocket that we exist in. Unfortunately, we are the ones who are in front of the rest of the world. And we need to kind of synthesize and come together and kind of pull everybody else along on this journey, because AI is not going to go backwards. It's only going to get better. It's only going to take over in so many other spaces in our lives. And at the core of that is mistrust and misuse of AI. And blockchain, like Lloyd said, is probably going to be that integral solution that is running in the background. So therefore, understanding and working with blockchain solutions like Base, being in the Web3 space is actually so crucial going forward, that you shouldn't just limit yourself and think, to build for people like us. I think build for the greater world as well. I think Google about 2 days ago released something. It was called, I think it's called Synth ID. I think it's Synth ID. I'll need to double check it properly, right? But basically, what it is the ability to be able to verify whether an image or a video was created by one of their models, Nano Banana or whichever model that the user created the image with, so that you can see and verify that this is an AI generated solution or an AI generated asset. And if they thinking like that, you need to understand that there is an issue and we need to verify things. And that comes back to what we're saying from a blockchain perspective, what blockchain is really good at, right? AI cannot do what blockchain is doing, and blockchain cannot do what AI is doing. So just sit and think about that, and sit and think, how can you create verification layers for people that do not understand the intricacy of what we play around with every single day, and build for that as well. So that's
Yeah,
my
it's
little
true. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. For my end, I think for my end is what I submitted for. So for base batches, I was building the Monopolis, which was all the AI agents, 100 AI agents on a DeFi Monopoly board. And I think that project has got a very, very good chance because it's I think it's exciting because then you watch the agents, you scroll through and you can add personalities to them, and then you see them make decisions and make money for you. So I think that one is got potential to be, it's got that addictive nature to it. Gives you dopamine. I found that interesting. I was loving that. But um, when this idea of this DevRel Live stuff came, it's because I was trying to solve a real problem I'm facing in the last 30 days. So I was more drawn to solving problems for myself. So I went with this option, even though I don't think it's got the virality, but I think it's got the biggest impact because then it can help more people, fix their code. Whereas AI agents running around the board endlessly, I think that could, it could go viral for 3 months or whatever, and then it's dead, you know? Yeah, because the financialization space and the agentic space runs quick. Someone will come up with something better or more exciting or with better visuals, right? So, yeah, I think what I'm trying to say basically is when it comes to decision making on what to submit for base batches, think about what is the long game. How long can your solution in the AI world? How long could the solution that you're submitting? How long could it run for? Because, for example, we're in March now, and base batches, the application for the student thing closes in April, right? And by the time if you make it, you get to Silicon Valley, it's going to be like in October or something like that. Excuse me. So would someone else have disrupted your business idea if it's just using agents and someone else can copy it or make it better? So there's a chance that you could get disrupted by the time you get to San Francisco. That's the challenge a lot of AI businesses are facing right now, is by the time you get to speak to your investors, right? You've already been disrupted, or the investor have got some other little guy who saw your code and is offering the same thing at half the price. So that's the danger of that. So when it came to me, I was struggling with these two decisions. I mean, I've been building these things in the last 30 days, right? So I've been struggling on what to submit, right? Then I took time to really think about where technology is going. If I'm building AI agents and they're running around, they're doing DeFi, so many people are already doing it better than me. I just had this idea to do it on a Monopoly board, but somebody else is going to come and do 3D Monopoly or something, or 5D Monopoly, which I probably don't know. And it's going to go viral more than mine. So yeah, so I had to make these decisions. So what I'm trying to get to you guys is, when it comes to decision making on what to submit, right? Think of how fast your technology is doing. So if you're building a system, even if it's using AI agents, try and think around the curve. Try and think like 6 months down the road. Can you build something that's going to last for 6 months? Because a lot of business are not lasting that long, like your Cluely now. They go viral and then they're gone. Just like AI models. We're not using ChatGPT. Even ChatGPT, the previous one, they're saying it was, not even great, but we're paying $20 for it, right? They're saying now 5.2 is the one that you should be paying for, but they've given it to us for free. So these are the things that you need to think about now, where everything can be one-shotted. So try and look beyond the curve. Maybe try and also build something that's dear to you. For me, because this is what we do on it every week, we get on these calls, we help builders, we be troubleshooting constantly. So I was building something for me, like something that solves a problem for me, but that also solves a problem. It allows me to solve for many more people, for all of you guys that are coming on the live stream. So I think also take that into account. How personal is this thing? Are you really trying to solve a problem? But then if not, then how viral is it? You know? So it's pointless now to make something that's not gonna get any viral traction, I think. You know, so try and make something that's gonna really go viral. You make your quick money in 3 months, you get that flight to San Francisco. Even if you get there, you don't have an idea anymore. But hey, you know, you know what I'm saying? You iterate along the way. So yeah, so I think, yeah, for me, the word of the day is just like go into your decision making in terms of what you're going to submit based on either your experience or how you perceive the markets, or you know, going back to what Shabs was saying, get market sentiments, a bit of research. I mean, even a Google search or an AI search will give you that. So yeah, so that's my take, and that's how I made my decisions, guys, to go with DevRelive. Was based on the utility and the value that I feel it can solve for myself, as opposed to how much money I can make very quickly. So yeah, so
Nice.
that's my word for the day. So yeah, thank you to everyone. Thanks, Shabs, and thanks, Lloyd, as always. And thank you to the audience for coming through. You can catch us again on Thursday, 1 p.m. CAT for the Builder office hours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With
Yeah.
that said, I think this is goodbye. Good evening. Good evening, gents. And good evening to everybody. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Be.
Cheers.